Hello, hello, welcome to Pre-Calculus 12 again. So we are into section 0.1 on note-taking, the first part. So dive right into it. Let's see what our purposes are. So in this class, you're going to be learning how to take notes in this class. Hence the title, note-taking, very obvious. So you're going to see me demonstrate what this looks like, just to give you a little bit of a sense as to what I'm expecting and just what's the best way for you to take notes in this class. So the setup. So what you're going to do for this is, remember I told you need a binder with pieces of paper or a notebook. So in this, when you're going to start watching your videos, you're going to set up your binder as such. So you're going to have a bunch of columns going on here. So the first column, section, easy. Today's 0.1, you just write that in the box. Next, purposes. I give you the purposes, just copy and paste. Really straightforward. You don't have to think about these two, not too bad. Then you're going to put down key ideas. This one you'll actually need to think a little bit about. So as you're going through the video, you'll look and see, okay, what are my key ideas? You can do this as you're watching the video. You can do this after you watch the video. Either way is fine. You're just writing down what are the key points in this. And this might differ from someone else, and that's totally okay. This is something that you need to look at, what the key ideas are. Then questions, forming questions. So you need to figure out, okay, what did I not get? What's a question I can relate to this? How many times in class have students said, Mr., I don't understand this? This is not a question. This is a statement. I need questions. So instead of writing in here something like, I don't get this, make a question. When you explained it this way, I didn't understand this step. That's a question. I can relate to that. I can answer something like that. I don't understand is just a lazy way of saying I don't get it. Teach me everything. That's not what we're doing here. You need to actually come up with a question. Again, our last section in this week, we're going to be talking about forming good questions or better questions. You might be pretty good at it. So we'll do that later. Next, how do I solve this? So you have a bunch of questions. You don't know it. How are you going to solve it? So are you going to come to me? Are you going to talk to a classmate? Are you going to rewatch this video to see if you can get it? Check the textbook, find another video online because you don't like mine, whatever. I won't be offended too much. So how are you going to solve it? What are you going to do? And then finally, or not finally, this is almost the final. So answered. Did I answer it? Yes or no? Simple column. And then the last one here is test reflection. So after you take the unit test, just a little bit of reflection. What did you do well? What did you do poorly? Maybe you might say the first 3 key ideas, I did great, but I sucked at the last one. So just so that you know when you're coming to the final exam, what you can focus on, this is going to keep everything nice and tidy. You'll find when you come to study for a final, or even the unit test, when you go through these notes, everything's going to be laid out nice and easy. You can go through each of your key ideas and see if you understand it. So this is why I'm setting you up with a set of notes this way. This is going to keep your notes organized. This is going to help with studying later on because you're doing a lot of work up front instead of all of it right before the exam. So this is going to be very beneficial to you. So let's look at what this could look like. So for instance, for this set of notes already, I can give you a bunch of these things. So when you're doing the video, the first 5 columns, so section, purposes, key ideas, questions, how to solve, those ones can all be done before you come to class. So you can have this filled out ready to go so that when you come to class, you have the questions, you know what you need to ask or try and figure out and how you're going to solve those. Then once you're in class, the answered column, you'll fill out while you're in class. And then the test reflection obviously is after the test. So the first 5 you can have figured out already. So for this class, here's what you can fill in. Section, 0.1, easy. Purposes, copy and paste. So to learn how to take notes, to see Mr. Brennan demonstrate. Easy, easy. Here's the key ideas I wrote down. You can be as thorough as you want. So I came up with, okay, here's the list of the titles. for each of the columns. Section, purpose, key idea, all of those. The first 5 you fill out before class. During the class, you come and ask the questions, and you fill in the 6th column, which is the answered column, and then you reflect after the unit test. So these are the key points of this section in this video that you can write it up in here. And then questions. What questions could you have? So I came up with these. You can list them point blank. You can put numbers, whatever you want, if it's easier for you to organize it. So 1, do I need to talk with classmates before Mr. Brandon? So this little time thing that I put there is you can put a timestamp with your video. So you're watching the video, something doesn't make sense, pause it, write up a question. I don't get how he went from step 2 to 3 in example 2. Put a timestamp. That way we can specifically look at the video at a specific time. Again, just another organization skill that will help you. Some of them, there might not be a timestamp. So number 2, do I need to do this for every lesson? This isn't a specific thing about what I did, it's just a general question. So you would just write that down, no timestamp. Question 3, what if I don't have any questions? Question 4, how did Mr. Brandon make such a great video? Because this is such an awesome video. I know you guys are super entertained by this. You should see the videos that were before when I used someone else's video. I think these are a little bit better, but not by much. I'm working at it. So the next thing you want to fill out is how to solve. So how could I figure these out? So question 1, do I need to talk with my classmates before Mr. Brandon? How could you figure that out? Would that be something I need to talk straight to Mr. Brandon? Or maybe can I watch the video again and try and understand it? So what do you think? So this is what I put. I'm going to ask classmates first, and if they don't know, then talk to Mr. Brandon. Again, this is one way to do it. You could do it many different ways. If you want to do more independent, you can try and figure it out yourself. If you want to ask me more questions, that's fine. Whatever's more comfortable with you, I'm totally okay with that. So then once you've gone through this in class and gone through the questions, you just write it out. So 1, yes, 2, yes, 3, yes, 4. I need to do more research. I haven't figured out how to make a better video. So after you've done some research, then you put yes. So just to go through that, I guess I can answer the question. Do I need to talk with Mr. Brandon, classmates before? No, it's up to you. Question 2, do I need to do this for every lesson? Yes, I'm going to ask you to do this because this is going to help you a lot, and this is going to help scaffold you into this different way of learning. This is going to be very beneficial. So yes, it's a lot of work up front, but I highly recommend it. Or not highly recommend it. I don't want to say force, but yes, I'm forcing you. You have to do it because it's worth marks, and I'm going to be checking it every once in a while. So yes, you have to do these set of notes. What if I don't have any questions? Great. You're doing great. If you have no questions, then in class it's really easy. Move on to the next section. There's nothing holding you back from continuing to move forward. And how did I make such a great video? Maybe at some point I'll show you, but I think you guys, if you've done any video editing or stuff like that, you know how to do this. It's really straightforward. Maybe at one point I'll send you a picture of my hilarious setup, how this is all set up. Anyways, let's move on. I digress. So test reflection. So this is something that you could write after the test. So I was really good at writing the notes, but I need to come up with some better questions. So maybe your questions are more, I don't get this example. Can you please explain it? Or it's just, what is are my set of notes okay? Actually, that's a good question. It's hard to come up with a bad question. Anyways, so suppose you just didn't make good questions. So this could be something that you'd write. So this is a general idea of what you could do for taking notes, specifically for this video. So in class, we're going to do this again. So I'm going to make a set of notes from another video. Here's the link for that video. I actually haven't watched this video yet. I kind of skimmed through to make sure it's good. Make sure you eat before class. That's my only warning. Otherwise, you're going to get hungry. So I haven't actually watched this. You'll get to see me process through this live and in person and see me struggle through it a little bit. So I think that's going to be more beneficial to you to see my thought process. So if you want, you can try and write your notes ahead of time if you want, just to give it a go. If you don't, if you'd rather see me do it in person, that's totally fine. that's kind of the plan for this. So that's what we're going to do in class. So I will see you shortly.